Hello and welcome. Episode 7. Little football this episode. We're still talking baseball. But football is going to lead us to our cold open. Nominative determinism. If you don't know what that means, I don't blame you. Pretty big words. Basically, it's whatever your name is has a bigger impact on what you do. Like if your last name was Baker, you have a better chance of becoming a baker, right? Stuff like that. You get influenced by your name, and that brings me to an NFL draft prospect, because I've been diving in recently. The NFL draft is on Thursday, and there's a safety for Kansas State. It's probably going to be like a mid-round pick, third to a fifth, somewhere in there. Not too bad. He's proven that wrong. The nominative determinism, because his name is VJ Payne. You heard that right, VJ Payne. And if nominative determinism, and that's the last time I'm going to say it, because I haven't messed it up, and it's a miracle I haven't yet, he's proven that wrong. Because if that was real, that guy would be in school to be a gyno right now. Thank you very much. That's the football talk at the top. We're going to hit some baseball. It's going to be a little quicker on the baseball here because we want to dive into a mock draft. Not going to pretend I'm an expert in football, but we have fun with it. And I do love the draft. Kind of how I talked about in one of those episodes where I was talking about, is it more fun to be a fan of a rebuilding team or a good one? I think the reason I lean rebuilding for the most part, obviously you want to see your team win eventually, but the reason I lean rebuild is I have so much fun with these drafts, man. It's the best. I mean, when your team is loaded with picks or they have a high pick, the hope of what a player could become is so much more fun than watching your good players do bad, or you know what I mean? The hope is what wins the draft and is so much fun. But we'll get there. Let's talk a little baseball. It's a fun weekend of baseball. We'll start off in the nation's capital. Giants came out 1-2-3. It's kind of a sloppy series. Two teams. Giants have just been playing bad baseball. The Nationals have been playing good baseball with the bats and terrible baseball on the mound. That kind of flipped. The pitching was better for the Nats, but the offense was okay. And then once a clutch situation happened, it just died. There were like 2 instances of bases loaded, no outs, no one scores. There were a couple other first and seconds. There was an extra inning game on Saturday. I wanted to rip my hair out, and I generally have a very mild temperament, especially when my team is not expected to do much. And it was pissing me off beyond, no. I'm not even going to think about it anymore. It was just the most frustrating game ever. Yeah, Giants take 2 of the 3. The one the Nationals won was a shutout in a game where Miles Michaelis threw the bulk. Just a weird series. The next one was the Braves sweeping the Phillies. I'll talk about it later, the state of the NL East, but this could just be the Braves coasting to an NL East title. It's too early to say that, but we'll see. They look so good, man. I mean, I'm going to touch on the NL East later, but they look so good. The next one was Brewers-Marlins. Fun series. Again, 2 teams that like kind of mirror each other. Very analytical, low spending, play weird. I don't know. But you can see this Marlins core coming together. It's kind of fun. The one problem, like I talked about with, I believe it was Giants-Orioles, the colors. There was one game where they were both wearing light blue. And don't get me wrong. You see the Dolphins sweatshirt. If you're on YouTube, if you don't, I'm wearing a Dolphins sweatshirt because we're talking football. I love light blue. Give me the Marlins teal. Give me the Brewers wearing their baby blues. I love it. Always. Cardinals baby blues. Nats City Connects are light blue. I love it. But when two teams are facing each other wearing it, weird. Brewers took 2 or 3 there. Cubs and Mets. Yikes, dude. The Cubs look pretty good. Fine. Pitching is not going to be great, but the Mets are just lost. They look like a lost puppy. I hate to say it because I don't like the Mets. I'm starting to feel a little bad. I think they'll be not this because they've lost 11 straight. You can't. They're not going to lose out, right? And Soto coming back should give them a spark, but that might be too late. They need to go like now. And I don't know. I said I'm starting to feel bad. I wouldn't mind if the Mets just stunk this year. That'd be fine. But yeah, they just look awful. The Reds and the Twins. This was a fun series because these are two teams that I guess you could have sold me on the Reds with a healthy Hunter Green, but as soon as he was out, I was just that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I already didn't like the team enough, and then once Hunter Green was out, it was like, yeah, I don't see it. But both of these teams, the Twins were on the other end of the spectrum where I wasn't even considering believing in them. But they both have come out to great starts. And so this felt like the series of like, whose start is actually legit? The Reds swept them. So if anything, the Reds start is legit by my standard. I think the Twins are, assuming health, because a lot of their players are big health questions. I think they're better than I gave them credit for going into the season, but feels like this was the series that showed, like, okay, the Twins aren't absolutely bashing on the Red Sox good. I think they're going to find their water and end up not at the bottom of the AL Central, but close to it. The next one was Pirates-Rays. Pirates took 2 or 3. I like these series where two teams that trade a lot or traded recently play each other. Obviously, famously, you have the Tyler Glasnow, Chris Archer trade that everyone said the Rays fleeced, and they did. But did they do anything with it? No. This offseason, you obviously had Brandon Lau and a bunch of other pieces. That trade got so complicated. You had Mangum come over, a bunch of prospects going to the Pirates, or the Rays, my bad. Very interesting. The Rays just continue to wheel and deal, and everyone acts like they're going to win every time. Not true. There have been a lot recently where it doesn't work out for them. Like this trade, Brandon Lau looks awesome. Obviously, the Rays need to see what develops with the players they got back, but Brandon Lau looks great. Might put the Pirates offense over the top, get them to the playoffs. We'll see. The next one is so fun. Cardinals swept the Astros. And, we're talking a little football. I got a little analogy here because this is the series I'm willing to declare the Astros dead. Not for this year. I think they'll still be somewhat interesting this year because they have some good players. The dynasty's dead. And I know, looking back at this point, you could have said, oh, it ended 2 years ago because now the Dodgers are here. But the Astros have been favorites or close to favorites in the AL recently. I don't think you can say they were dead. The dynasty was dead just because the Dodgers showed up. I don't know. It's tough. But I think that's a lot of hindsight. I think now we can officially call them dead. And no one cares. That's my point, is no one cares. We're talking a little football on here today, so let me give you a football analogy. The Patriots dynasty ended. They were the dynasty, and then they were not. And then there was no dynasty, and then the Chiefs came in. So when the Patriots dynasty ended, everyone outside of New England was so happy because it was done. This is not like that because the Astros kind of floated in this elite team category while the Dodgers took over. So there wasn't this definitive end to the Astros before the Dodgers got there. And it's kind of a shame because that would have been such a satisfying ending for such a villain dynasty arc the Astros had. But I think they're dead. I think they're done. They still have some young talent, so they can obviously come back and be a competitive team, even this year, but in the future. But the days of them being favorites, done. Very done. The next series was Dodgers-Rockies. They split. Maybe the reason they split is because the Rockies were getting the signs. If you saw Dalton Rushing, the Dodgers catcher, was accusing them of stealing signs, he called it fishy. That was the word he used, fishy. And I can't do it, man. You are the Dodgers. They are the Rockies. In today's game, it is so hard to steal signs in an illegal way, right? Like the Astros did. And some other teams, I'm sure, right? But in today's game, if you want to cheat, it's tough. But if you don't want to cheat, if you actually want to get pitches in a legal way, it's really easy because a lot of teams have departments looking at where guys' gloves are, how the hand spins in the glove, all these tiny little details that tell you what pitch is coming. And that's totally legal. As long as you figure it out in a legal way, it's totally legal. So if they had the pitches, it was most likely done in a legal way. Calling it fishy, lame, especially when you're the Dodgers throwing stones from your gold castle at the Rockies. Really? Stop it. Lame. Next series. Padres at Angels. I was at 2/3 of this series. It was very fun. We actually had a group. I was not in charge of getting tickets. We went to a game Friday for our slow pitch softball team. Dude, I thought it was going to be like 10 people. We had 24. We had a whole row. I couldn't talk to 90% of the people in our group. Still a great time, but whew, don't go to a game with 24 people. That's too many. Game one was awesome. The Angels blew them out on the day that Garrett Anderson passed. Heartbreaking. It's my first favorite player. It's not about me, but he was 53 years old. I think the Angels did a phenomenal job honoring him, especially on such short notice. He passed away in like the morning, afternoon Friday, and they had the grass cut out and a video and all these. It was a phenomenal job by the Angels. And so cool that they won on his day. The next two games the Padres took. You know the song from the SNL skit, the cowbell skit with Will Ferrell and what's his name, Christopher Walken. Don't fear the Reaper. Do fear the Reaper. The Reaper being Mason Miller. Just keep watching him. Any chance you get to watch him because the pace he's on is just special reliever stuff, like very special. He's on pace to break a lot of stuff. And I know with relievers and not allowing runs and strikeout streaks and all that type of stuff, it can be broken like that. But he's getting up there. So keep watching Mason Miller. That was the first time I got to watch him in person on Sunday. Our seats weren't like close, but even then, it's just a blur. And you can tell by the hitter's swings, complete guessing. It's so much fun to watch. The next series, Diamondbacks took 2 or 3 from the Jays. That's a hot Diamondbacks team that looks good. That's a Blue Jays team that's been struggling, that's been injured, and needs to pick it up because the AL East has been a little cold recently, but I don't see the Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox staying down long enough for the Blue Jays to go grab that if they don't come out of this right now. They are playing the Angels, which are not an easy out anymore, but that could get them on track. We'll see. The next series is tough because I do like the Yankees. They're actually my second team in the AL, but I bought so much Royal stock at the beginning of this year, and yikes. The Yankees had a tough week or so when they faced the A's and the Angels. They're back. They just hitting a lot of homers, beating up on the Royals. Are the Royals dead? Please tell me they're not. Yeah, they don't look good. Their offense is yeesh. They can't do anything in clutch situations, kind of what I was talking about with the Nationals. The pitching's been okay, but just not good enough. We need the Royals to be good, and they're not, so that has to change. The next one was Guardians taking 3 of 4 from the Orioles. The first game from that, I mentioned it in the last podcast. Go watch Parker Messick pitch. He's been so good this year. He took a no-no into the 9th, had it broken up. He's one of those big boy lefties that throws with very high effort. Great changeup. If you can just picture that, that's Parker Messick. He's awesome, dude. Go watch him. Again, almost threw a no-hitter. He got up to like 106 pitches in the 8th, and they were like, oh, is he going to send him out? Send him out, dude. Let's go. They did. Didn't get it. Didn't finish it. That's tough, but such a fun game to watch. The next series was Tigers at Red Sox. Where are my tomatoes? They split a 4-game series. I'm sick of these. Boo. Especially when it's 2 fun teams and 2 fun teams that struggled out of the gate. It would have been more fun if one swept or took 3 or 4, because then there's a little bit more storyline. But it's like, yeah, okay, they held water. It's 2-2 in the series. Fine. Whatever. In a different way, that's how I feel about this next series. The A's are fun to watch, but they still have the stink of the A's, and they played the White Sox, which kind of the same story in a lesser fun way to watch, if you know what I mean. Yeah, White Sox took 2 or 3 anyway, even though they're the worst team. But this series being held in Sacramento, which has a lot of stink on it. Sorry. The next one was a lot more fun, though. And this is one I'm keeping an eye on because the Mariners took 2 or 3 from the Rangers. I think this might be the AL West race. I don't want to rule the A's out. I don't think they'll be aggressive to add pitching at the deadline or anything. So kind of can rule the A's out, but that offense bangs. So don't count them out too early. But the way the Rangers look, and I say this will be the AL West race, I don't mean that as a slight to Seattle. I mean that as a Texas is going to be better than I thought they were, which I'm so happy about because I love the way Texas' roster is constructed. Adding Mackenzie Gore, going for it. They should be really good. So if this is a close race, I would love that. Sign me up for this to be a game 160 something. I'd have to check the schedule. If they're playing each other late, that'd be even cooler. Yeah, with the Astros out of this, I think it's these 2 teams. I think with the Astros out, if the A's staff struggles, if the Angels can stay afloat, maybe the Angels get in the conversation. Maybe more of a wild card conversation, but that'd be fun. And that was it. Those were the series. A little bit shorter because I wanted to get to the football today, but we do have some standings, updates, storylines. The Braves are 16-7. I don't have the exact numbers, but they were read off on yesterday's broadcast because they're playing the Nationals. They're like top 3 in offense, defense, pitching, bullpen pitching. Like they've been the best team in baseball to start the year. Even better than the Dodgers? Yeah, I don't see that sustaining, but they look so good, dude. And with the Mets and Phillies both struggling, they could just coast like I talked about earlier. The Mets look broken, so I can't fully count on them being better than they have been. Like I said, they're not going to lose out, but I don't fully believe that they're just going to right the ship and be a playoff team or in the hunt for the NL East. They could just be bad. The Phillies, on the other hand, I don't feel that way. I think that's an offense that's just struggling and will get hot. And then you add Zach Wheeler into that rotation, and it gets great again. I think the Phillies will come back and give the Braves for their money. Braves are run for their money. Slow down. But yeah, I don't think the Mets are going to do it. I think they might just be out of it this year. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a great 3-team race. That'd be fun. I hope the Nationals win the NL East. That's not going to happen. So, yeah, give me the 3-team race, but I don't think the Mets are going to be there, man. The NL Central is possibly just elite all around. The best record is 15-8. The worst is 12-9. They're just killing it all around. And then the West, the Padres are going stride for stride with the Dodgers. The D-backs aren't far behind. I would love if this was an exciting race in the West because we haven't had that since what? Was it 2021? The Giants won like 108 games randomly. Ever since then, it's just been all Dodgers, it feels like. It'd be so fun if there were big games in San Diego, big games in Arizona again. I mean, that what was it, 2023 Dodgers-Padres series? And even 2 years ago, just some of the most fun baseball, probably the best rivalry going right now. I would love to see the Padres be this good. Prove me wrong, please. Would love it. And then every AL division is kind of waiting for someone to separate. There isn't that dominant team or dominant duo at the top of any of them. There have been some very disappointing teams, like we talked about with the Blue Jays. The Red Sox are starting to come out of it, but their start was horrible. The Astros have been bad, and the Royals have also been bad. I know we talked about those guys, but those 4 teams just need to get going now. It's one of those things where, it's early, you don't have to worry, but every game counts, and they're losing a lot of games. It's starting to get scary in those places. Yeah, that was our baseball talk for today. We're mostly going to be baseball talk, but as I talked about, I love drafts. The NFL draft is the best draft, obviously. You get immediate impact from the players. The picks are worth so much. They can be traded. It's so exciting. It's just a better product. I would say I like the MLB draft more in a different way because it feels like it's mine because no one else likes it. The NFL draft is so popular now that I get to just kind of be a fan. But I do love the MLB draft. But that's not happening soon. So we're talking NFL draft. Football's fun for me because baseball, I can put myself in the shoes of player, coach, front office member, owner, whatever. And I have not all the knowledge, obviously. Not good enough to play in the MLB. Not smart enough to manage. You get the gist, right? But I have a certain percentage of knowledge to the point where I can judge decisions and I can say what I would do and all this stuff. And I do a lot of research on a lot of the draft, free agents, all that type of stuff, right? So it's not a job, even though I'm doing this. This is not a job. This is fun. But baseball, I dive deep, and sometimes it can be just not like a job, but you lose your sense of just pure fandom. And I think football kind of scratches that itch of, I know football and I know the prospects in the draft because I like getting into it, but it's not, I'm not dissecting everything and I don't know the game as well. So it's fun to just be a fan, right? As I showed and said, I am a Dolphins fan. When I was a child, I liked the colors and I liked the animal. So I picked them, and I've been ride or die ever since. And if you want to call me a fake fan, go ahead and look up the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game. I'll save you the time. 2000. Go ahead and look up. You're not going to find it. I'll answer it for you. When was I born? 2001. Hello? 0 playoff wins. Playoff wins. Not Super Bowls, not AFC champion. Playoff wins in my lifetime. I think they've played 4 playoff games in my lifetime. And I have been basically alive or awake for 2 or 3 of them, and they were awful. They were like the worst games ever. I got to watch them die in the cold in Kansas City, and then I got to watch the Steelers impale our quarterbacks till we were on quarterback 3. It's not fun, and I still do it. I love Miami. We've been down there a couple times. Great city. Yeah, I'm hoping I can be a fun football fan again, because it's just been misery my whole life. Let's get into this mock draft. If anyone is interested in this, if anyone's listening and you like football at all, and you want a little visual aid, I tweeted it out on our account. Go follow at KIS_pod. I tweeted out the mock draft. So if you want to look at it and have a little visual aid, we'll kind of rip through, hit some of the fun picks, give you some of the traits of these guys. The Raiders picking first. This has been Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana, for months. The Jets at 2 are talking about taking an edge rusher. David Bailey and Arvell Reese are the 2 choices. David Bailey from Texas Tech reminds me too much of Chop Robinson, who's a Dolphin, of just speed rusher. Like, yes, he can get to the quarterback, but he's really pass rush only. He's not great the first 3 downs, right, where you're having to stop the run. I don't like him as much as other people, but people are saying he's in contention for that pick. I have Arvell Reese. He's more your Micah Parsons, where he's going to be a linebacker convert, and there's some risk because you have to have a plan for how to convert him to an edge. But if it works, he's going to be very good. So I have Arvell Reese going to the Jets at 2. At 3, the Cardinals. There's talks of them taking the running back. There's an elite running back in this class, Jeremiah Love. I can't see it. They're not ready. They don't have their quarterback. Even if they get Ty Simpson this year, you already have James Conner and Trey Benson. They signed Algier. I don't see it. I don't get it. So I went with tackle out of Miami, Francis Maui-Noah. Maui-Noah is nice. He can flex inside, play guard, can play right tackle for you. Maui-Noah is selfishly one of the guys that I want to get to 11 for the Dolphins, but here, have him going at 3. At 4, the Titans. This is another spot with a ton of smoke for Jeremiah Love, the running back. I don't see it. I think if anything, you get the wide receiver to help Cam Ward. But I have them going defense because they just hired Robert Saleh. And Saleh was with the 49ers last year and was obviously with the Jets before that. People are talking about how he turns these nothing linebackers into all pros, Pro Bowls. And I get that. If you have a position you do really well with, you don't have to go get the guy at the top. But Sonny Styles, the linebacker out of Ohio State, is elite. He is so good. He played safety to start his career and then switched to linebacker. Was already like a top 15 pick. And then he put on a show at the Combine, one of the most athletic linebackers of all time. I think if you get a guy like this, if Bob Saleh is turning nobodies into all pros, what's he going to do with him? Right? And the other thing about that is with the 49ers last year, he missed Fred Warner. I don't know. Might have a factor. At 5, we got Carnell Tate going to the Giants, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Just Ohio State littering this top 10. There's 4 Ohio State guys in this top 10. Ridiculous. The wide receivers in the first round, the ones we know are going to go first round, are Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, and Mekhi Lemon. Tate is just your big body, 100% going to be good. Like, probably more of a wide receiver 2, less upside, but you just know what you're getting with him. Tyson, the injury report is what scares you, but he's the dude that, like, Malik Neighbors special type athleticism, where, like, you want to take the chance on the physicals? Kinda, because he could be so sick. And then Mekhi Lemon is kind of the undersized but very good separator. Kind of your, what would you say, like a little Zay Flowers-y, a little Amon-Ra-y, kind of that slot, small, shifty, but still can go get it type. It's kind of cool because it's just a flavor thing. There's 3 wide receivers here, and you just pick your flavor. But yeah, Carnell Tate to the Giants at 5. At 6, this is where I finally have Jeremiah Love going. It could be a trade, but I haven't seen this talked about at all. The Browns, why not? Right? I mean, if you're going to roll with Deshaun Watson, why not just try to make the running game as good as possible? Run the ball a lot, let Myles Garrett get after the other quarterback. I don't know. I see this as a possible fit. And if you get Jeremiah Love at 6, that feels like a value. Even though the contract is going to be one of the highest paid running backs, he's worth it. At 7, we got the Commanders taking David Bailey. They need defensive help. Again, I don't like Bailey as much, but teams do, so they're going to take him. Next pick, we have my guy at edge, Ruben Bain. He's so sick. He's from Miami. Big boy. Short arms, like record short arms. I don't think that's going to matter because he plays with so much power. Miami would line up 3 people on one side of the line and then Ruben Bain by himself on the other side of the center. And teams would try to run at him. Wouldn't work. He could stop the run by himself on one side, so have him going to the Saints. That's another guy that I selfishly really would like to fall to 11. At 9, I have the Chiefs taking the chance on Jordan Tyson's medicals. If that works out, that's an insane weapon for Mahomes. That would be a really fun pairing. Terrifying pairing, but really fun. At 10, the Giants are up again because of the Dexter Lawrence trade. Good on them for getting 2 picks in the top 10. If I'm them, I'm just taking 2 Ohio State guys and running with it. I know you don't scout the helmet, but specifically these 4 guys in the top 10, I feel so confident about. I have them taking the safety Caleb Downs here. He's not a physical freak at safety, which makes you go, then why are you taking him top 10? Less valuable position. But he is one of the top 2 smartest players in the draft, I'd say, with Fernando Mendoza. He's so good. He's so good. And he's probably the 3rd guy that I'd very much want to get to 11 for the Dolphins. But who I do have getting to 11 for the Dolphins is Mansour Delane, who is probably the 2nd best corner in this class, which is tough because he's damn good. But Jermon McCoy is so good. His tape from not this year but the year before was phenomenal. It's just that he has a knee thing that the league is worried might be a thing in the future. He ran a 4.32 at his pro day, so okay. You think he's going to get hurt in 3 years? Who cares? I don't get it. But I'm trying to predict what's going to happen, so I'm not going to pick him here because apparently teams are scared. But yeah, Dolphins could go anywhere. They have so many holes on their roster. I haven't taken a corner here. It's really best player available. Then I have the Cowboys. They have to go defense. I haven't taken the safety, Dylan Thieneman. He's part of the Caucasian Collision Unit on Oregon. They had another, he's a white safety. They had a white linebacker that hit very hard, and they called themselves the CCU. Very fun. The Rams at 13. Low moving costs. You keep Mekhi Lemon in LA. Add another weapon for Stafford. Puka was at camp, but, he had his thing going on. If you don't know, he went to rehab. Good for him. But, you don't want to count on that. And then you also have Devontae Adams, who is getting old. So add another receiver. Get another weapon in the middle of the field. The Ravens take one of my favorite players in this draft at 14, Vega Ioane, guard from Penn State. He is going to be straight up a guard. He's not a tackle. But even with that, best O-lineman in this class. Going to be a stud. $15. Go Akeem Messidor, the other edge from Miami. Messidor is interesting because for a team like Tampa that's ready to win now and their coach has to save their job, I think he's great because he's ready to play now. He's ready to win now. The problem for other teams, like if the Dolphins were to draft him, I'd be devastated. He's 25 years old. By the time he gets to his second contract, especially if he's a first rounder, which he should be, he's going to be 30. Can't have it. If you're drafting a first rounder, the idea is that they're going to be very good and you're going to extend them for their second contract. And if your extension starts when he's 30 years old, I don't like that. But for a team like the Bucs, it makes total sense. Just juice the pass rush right now. You're not worried about the guy who's going to be coaching the Bucs in 6 years, right? 16, we got the Jets taking Jermod McCoy. The Jets are far off enough, and they're really looking for next year to be competitive after a big 27 draft where they hold 3 first-round picks. So I think a lot of talk about receiver here. They really could go anywhere, but I think taking a chance on one of the best players in the draft who has injury concerns when you're a year or two away, I like it. I would really like that pick. The Lions, I have taken Spencer Fano, tackle from Utah. This feels low for Fano. He's probably going to go higher, but someone has to fall, right? It's the age-old saying, someone has to fall. Fano is interesting because he can play tackle, and he might end up at tackle. I don't think he'll be elite there. The weird thing is he could be a very good guard. He could be an elite center because he moves so well. Some people actually just see him as an elite center. So that I don't think with how high he gets taken, they plop him straight into center, but that might be a thing down the road where he ends up there. We'll see. But Lions there picking him. I have the Vikings taking Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety out of Toledo. Toledo's becoming DBU, huh? They got him, Quinyon Mitchell. Okay. But yeah, the Vikings can use help in the secondary. Carolina, I have taken Caden McDonald, the 5th Ohio State player to get taken in 2019 picks. Yikes. That program is special, dude. McDonald is just a big boy that eats up space in the run game. And this is where you see this draft is not good. There's like maybe 18 to 20 first-round grades for pretty much everyone I've listened to. And then there's just this in between. And then there's like some nice depth in the 3rd and 4th round. But the bottom of this first round and kind of that second round is just not great for what it can be usually. And this is where you start to see it, where like the Cowboys are taking Avion Terrell at 20, the corner. He's A.J. Terrell's brother. He's fine. But taking him at 20, there's probably a guy at corner that you could take at 40-something that I'd feel about just as good about. So this is where teams are going to be wanting to move out of here because they're going to feel just as good about guys they can get at 40 than they do at mid 20, right? 21, I have the Steelers taking Monroe Freeling, tackle from Georgia. This is kind of a funny story. So if you look at my hat, actually, one of my favorite podcasts, NFL Stock Exchange. I listen to them year round because I love them, and I do love the draft process. They do like summer scouting. So I'm scouting players, or not scouting, but I'm listening to people scout players as early as the summer. And I don't watch college football that deeply. So some of these players I never see. I just hear about them year round. Just, Monroe Freeling. Oh, Monroe Freeling. That's all I hear. And I create this image of them in my head. And for some reason, every year, I race switch like 2 people. To me, for the past 8 months, Monroe Freeling has been a giant black tackle. I just saw him on TV. He is white as a ghost. So I didn't know that. The funny thing is, I also did that with the other developmental tackle in this draft, Max Ionicher from ASU. The name Max, the fact that he went to ASU, thought he was white. 100%. Very black. So that's just something funny that happens. 22, I got the Chargers taking Caden Proctor. They can use a guard. Caden Proctor is listed as a tackle. I think he'd be a great guard. He's too big to play tackle. He weighs like 400 pounds. He's too big. Can't move that well. But at guard, he'd be awesome. 23, Eagles. The rumors of A.J. Brown being traded are pretty much all but finalized. So I have them adding a pass catcher, Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon, who's good. I don't think he's like the elite prospect we've seen in like Brock Bowers or even like a Loveland or a Warren. I think he's maybe a shade under that, but another weapon. The Browns, we had them adding the running back. Now we'll have them add the wide receiver, Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana. Bears add an edge in Keldrick Falk. He's a big body. A lot of people don't like him. He's going to play all 4 downs. And I don't know. I like him. Maybe that's because I'm Dolphins specific and he's a guy that you want to let grow into what he can be because he's young and he's got the physical stuff. But I like him. We'll see. The Bills, we have going Lee Hunter, which kind of sounds like the JFK shooter. I don't know. He's an interior defensive lineman from Texas Tech. A lot of Texas Tech here. David Bailey, Lee Hunter. That's a nice D-line. Bills need some run support. Get him. Had San Francisco taken tackle Blake Miller from Clemson. They just extended Trent Williams, so maybe that doesn't happen. But Miller's a guy you could slide inside and eventually kick out to tackle. So, maybe it stands. Peter Woods, interior defensive lineman, again from Clemson. I have a run of 3 Clemson players here. And Clemson's interesting. I kind of like the idea of getting players from there because their season was so bad. And every player that was supposed to be this crazy draft prospect, like Peter Woods that I have being selected here, was supposed to be like a top 5, top 10 prospect going into the year. They all had bad years, and the team had a bad year. I kind of like the idea of buying low on these guys and getting them into your NFL camp and actually teaching them, because it doesn't seem like a lot of coaching was going on at Clemson in the last year. But I have Peter Woods going to Houston to create just the nastiest defense of all time. And then we have KC back up from the Trent McDuffie trade with the Rams. The fact that the Rams traded their first and they're still picking at 13 because the Falcons needed James Pierce Jr. last year is insane. Good on the Rams. But I have the Chiefs taking TJ Parker, again, another Clemson player, edge. And then the Dolphins at 30. I could see that. I just didn't know where to go here because, like I said, it dries up. But I could see the Dolphins not taking receiver because their front office is from Green Bay, which last year when they took a receiver in the first, it was the biggest deal ever because they hadn't. But I have Denzel Boston, the Washington wide receiver. You can call him Denzel from Washington. My man. 31 Patriots, CJ Allen, linebacker. More of a guess here. Once you get down the board, these are just dart throws. And 32, I think the Seahawks will probably just trade out because they really need picks, but I threw Jadarian Price in there. Give him the second Notre Dame running back in the first round. I don't know. The bottom of this isn't as instructive. It's more fun. The top of this, a little better of an idea, but again, not even going to be close. Even the experts aren't close, so we're just having fun with it. I love the NFL draft, so I wanted to talk about it. And yeah, that's even when we're in season in the NFL, I don't anticipate talking too much about it. I just love the draft so much. And, you know, when is it? April, May, June? Okay, we're getting close to baseball draft time. And I know a lot of people don't love the baseball draft or aren't into it because it's probably the hardest one to get into. But we're going to be covering it. And we're going to make it fun, right? It'll be fun. And you guys will know more about the people that enter your organizations. And that'll be nice. So that'll be something to look forward to. We'll be back on either Thursday or Friday. We shall see, to talk more baseball. We will recap the draft a little bit. We'll talk about where I was wrong, what's fun, what's not, how my Dolphins are doing, all that stuff. So we will see you this weekend or Thursday. I don't know. Bye, everybody.